Let me describe something that happens to a lot of guys. You get home, you sit in the car for a second, you feel that tightness in your stomach, your waist, you want to unbutton your pants and just sit there and try and relax. The day's been a whirlwind and you just don't want to walk inside just yet. And your brain is firing, trying to already start problem solving, troubleshooting the next part of your day, but you start thinking about food. What's the easiest way, the fastest way that I can get some food in my mouth to start to feel better? You have associated food with pleasure and coping and managing this. The day is hard, your head is just full of all the activities that just happened in the last 8 hours, and food ends up being that fastest reset button. But you already ate, say after dinner, and you're sitting there and your stomach's not empty, but you're still thinking, what else is there? What else can I grab? What would hit the spot? And if you're trying to lose weight, like 20 pounds, even 10, 30, 50 pounds, so your doctor might be on you about your blood panels, A1C, triglycerides, cholesterol, things like that. It's food noise. That's one of the main reasons why guys get stuck now, especially in their 40s, because they have so much going on in their life. Now, I'm going to break down what food noise is, six most common ways it shows up, and what real hunger actually feels like, because we think we're hungry, but we definitely don't know what hunger is, and how you can manage it better tonight. Welcome back to Driven for Health. I'm Coach Brian Pirana, and I've been working with people for the last 23 years. I have a lot of food noise conversations day in and day out to help people manage how they put food in mouth, what their relationship to food is. Episode 57 is exactly that, food noise. If you think about food all day, then this episode is definitely going to be you. It is all going to give you a lot more context and help you better understand the hows, the whys, what you're doing. And once you understand it in a different light, then it helps manage it so much better. And you're able to actually be successful with a better relationship with food and not just putting more food in your mouth. There's patterns that happen. Now, just want to throw out a shout out if you are looking for more help, you have your blood panels are higher than you want them to be. Maybe you just got back from a recent checkup being the first of the year and you have this new motivation to get your health in order. Your A1C, cholesterol, blood pressure, I have an improve your blood panel scorecard that has a 3-day simple to follow easy meal plan that you can have. It'll be in the show notes and it'll break down what your blood markers are in simple, plain language so you understand it. And then also what to do about it. And that's where the 3-day reset comes in. All right, back to what food noise actually is. If you are just sitting thinking about food all day long, regardless of how much food you have put in your mouth or calories, that is food noise. It's just this constant undertone in your head. There's a mental back and forth going on. Should I have this? Should I not? I want this. I don't want this. It's calling my name from the break room, or I need to stay away from the break room. That's what it is. It can really feel like food is just sitting in front of you in your brain all day long. Now, food noise shows up a number of different ways. Think of these questions. What am I eating later? I'll just have a little something. I've been good. I can have this now. I'll clean it up tomorrow. I'll start Monday, right? Those are phrases that people will say to justify the challenges that they are experiencing. And here's what you want to understand: food noise is more than just annoying, and it's more than just stealing your attention. It makes you less present in your current situation where you're at, whether you're at work, trying to be productive and actually get something done, but you keep thinking about food or putting something in your mouth. When you're at home and you should be spending time with your kids, but you're staying in the pantry instead for the sixth time. When you're out and about, maybe a date night, and it is around food, but you just end up spending more time eating food rather than enjoying the experience with her. And it drives the behaviors that ultimately can mess up your health, from an expanding waistline. Guys, if you have a waistline inch of 40 or more, you're in some pretty serious health issues. That's not a good place to be. If you are overweight by 20 pounds, if you have family history of chronic health diseases, if your doctor's been on you, these are things that are causing you. And other behaviors that start to show up are just extra snacking, grabbing a seconds on something, or maybe even thirds, having bigger portions, especially in the nighttime. A lot of people that I've worked with end up over consuming at nighttime, and that becomes a huge challenge for them. When alcohol gets paired with food, and it's not necessarily just the alcohol, but it's the lack of concern around the alcohol, around what you are eating, and everything sounds good. That becomes a big problem for a lot of people. It's the guilt by association. So you have that 200 to 300 calorie alcohol, but then you eat the 1,000 calorie meal because it sounded good. You end up not getting a lot of sleep because of food or hunger, or just GERD, acid reflux. If you lay down at night after you eat, and you lay down and you have the fire breathing dragon showing up, that's acid reflux. That is a food issue that you need to solve, and can solve, not with Tums or Pepto Bismol, but with actual real nutritional approach. Okay. Now, when you aren't focused on just the food noise being a craving, it often ends up being an entry point to weight gain. A little bit here and there. Think of this: a quarter pound a week. That's nothing. 1 pound a month, 12 pounds in a year, 25 or so in 2 years. That's left unchecked at a quarter pound of weight gain per year. So just want to throw in some context to the impact that just grabbing a little bit more than you should has on your day-to-day life and body. Now, when you do those extra snacking, then the weight goes up, but then it's probably junk food, because not too many people are overeating salads and sweet potato or chicken breast and broccoli. They're not doing a lot of that. They are overdoing it with the things that come after dinner: the dessert, the treats, the snacks, the drive by hand in a dish, a candy dish at the office. Okay. Those are what challenges you over health issues of insulin resistance, which is your body's lack of ability to process blood sugar levels when they go up, and your body has to keep releasing more insulin to get to the same outcome of where you were. Or high triglycerides, or your blood pressure isn't 120 over 80, it's more like 130 over 90. And your doctor will get on you and probably start encouraging you to take blood pressure medication, which anyone I ever worked with doesn't want to do that. Now, if you tell yourself that you eat pretty decent, that could be a trap. And this is where you can get a little bit worse for wear, because you're like, oh, I did so healthy today. I can allow myself this extra little treat. And then you compound that with stress, and your brain is looking for quick relief. It's looking for a say release of the kettle, the steam that's coming out. It needs an exit, and food will fill that for quick relief. Now, if you're tired, your appetite hormones will start to go. I talked about leptin and ghrelin in the seven. Look here, the seven Um, the seven hunger, the weight loss hunger hormones in episode 47. So that was a couple ago. This is 57. So 10 episodes ago, I talked about leptin and ghrelin. So you can go back to that one and you'll be able to understand ghrelin when it grumbles and it's like the gremlin and it says that you need more food. Whereas leptin is you are full, you don't need food in a sense. And that's a good hormone that we want to promote more. So when you have your hormones are out of whack, then you end up craving more and you want to eat a lot more and you're ultimately less satisfied. If you don't eat enough protein earlier in the day, that also causes a lot of problem. You feel like a bottomless pit or enough fiber. That's the other one. I have a simple two-step, two-question process of picking out what you're going to eat. And that is where's your protein? Where's your fiber? These two power questions really help you understand how to start your day with food and be able to fill up what your needs are so that you aren't just a bottomless pit. Now, if you're living on ultra processed foods, then your brain is going on a dopamine ride. It's there's going to be a lot of neurons firing in your brain, a lot of release of serotonin and a lot of enjoyment around the food that you are eating. This is what our food marketers know tons about, have studied, and create so many products and that definitely leverage you to want to eat. I mean, just go into the grocery store and everything's fancy colors and shiny and sparkly and it crinkles and it has this really nice design to it and it calls your name. But they're full of sugar, carbs, fats, and a lot of calories that you can easily overeat. Think of most, say, a Reese cup is about 73 calories, I believe, off the top of my head. And you usually will want to eat both of them because it comes in two. So there's 150 calories there. And that's not a filling 150 calories, is just 150 calories. So when guys come to me and they say, "Hey, I just have no willpower around food," I just don't buy it. It's because there's a lot of lack of nutritional knowledge and application to the food that they're eating that causes them to want to eat a lot of this food. Now, most of the time, if you have a system that works for you, you can really cut out a lot of distraction around the food noise and quiet it. But if you don't and you're just winging it and you really have no idea what you're eating any given time of the day, that's when it's going to work against you. Let's jump in with a story about Tim. I think you'll relate to Tim. He's relatable. He's 44. He works very hard. He's pushing in the career. He's successful there. He actually does a higher level management position and he has a team of over 60 people that he manages. And he spends a lot of time at his desk and on phone calls, managing all those people and the process and the things. He does enjoy working out, or he did back in the day. And but with his two kids and his day to day life, that becomes a challenge. And this pressure builds up over time and it causes challenges in his decision making abilities. And decision fatigue is a real thing when you are constantly under 1,000 different choices and even more subconscious choices. Like right now, I have a too friendly feline in my mix, and someone decided to put dishes away. We have six people in the house, and someone said, "Hey, when Brian's recording his podcast, let's do the dishes and be distracted." So there's so many subconscious things that are going on around you and it wears on your ability to make good decisions. Think of it like Mario. You're running down the board and you have your power bar above your head and that power bar wears out every time a decision needs made or a challenging, stressful situation pops up. That is how this occurs in the course of your day. You will wear down, you will end up being tired, you will end up fatiguing. Okay. You will not make good decisions. I myself falter when I'm hungry, I'm tired, and I haven't eaten in a long time. Any systems go to waste, and I eat whatever's easiest and most convenient because that's human behavior. Now, Tim was also about 25 pounds up to 30, and he definitely didn't feel like himself. He's tired. He's running on caffeine to push him through, and his yeah, that typical 3 p.m. crash is there. By 5 p.m., he's wanting to take a nap before he walks in his house. Just playing forward what I opened up this conversation with. That's Tim, and that could be you too. Now, with Tim, as he's getting evaluated with his bloods, his labs, his blood markers, his overall health, and coming to this middle stage of life, he needed to change, but he didn't know why he was so challenged with this. He thought he was a healthy guy, or he thought that he made healthier decisions, but that's where the rubber meets the road or doesn't actually, and he wasn't doing the choices that he needed to in terms of these micro decisions in the day. He cut out the basics of, say, soda. He didn't eat donuts. He didn't really eat the things in the break room, but he was stuck in this pattern of he'd skip breakfast, he'd grab something small, maybe a little bit later, or just take coffee. Then he'd grab a quick lunch, he'd push the afternoon, and then the biggest meal was at dinner. And then he'd always say, because he was trying to lose weight all the time, I am not going to eat that much at dinner. Or when I'm done with dinner. I'm going to eat dinner and then I'm going to be done. But when we talked, because we worked together in the Call to Rise program, 100-day fat loss challenge, we come up with some patterns of behaviors of where these situations started breaking down. And this is where a lot of people just fall off track, is at the evening, the nighttime eating, and he never had enough calories to allow himself to even be able to eat at 9 p.m. or later. Okay. This is a challenge for a lot of people. And the brain was looking to problem solve and troubleshoot that with food. All right. So that's what it looks like for Tim. That's who Tim is, and how he evolved from that is going into what I call the 6 common food noises. There's 6 types. You can pause and write these down, especially if you constantly think about food all the time. And let's go through them. Number one, the first culprit is the negotiator. Okay. The negotiator comes in, and this is the voice or the little guy on your shoulder that's trying to make deals with you. If I eat this tonight, I'll make up for it tomorrow. I'll skip breakfast. I'll work out extra. I'll be good for the rest of the week. Okay. And not start over on Monday, but I'll start over again right away tomorrow. Okay. And Tim did this a lot. He would negotiate with himself with food as a reward or a pleasure. And then he'd end up, what the cycle was, he'd always end up eating at night, and then he'd want to start over again. He would negotiate, okay, tomorrow I'm just going to skip lunch and then I will be all good there. But tomorrow came, the same stresses came, the same fatigue, the same pattern showed up because he didn't know how to deal with it. And that's where the negotiator keeps coming back, is your brain is always going to justify whatever it can to get to the outcome, the solutions that you want in your life, especially when it comes around food and, say, survival, because that's what food is. It's survival beyond just happiness, sadness, coping, excitement, joy, depression. The food has a lot of emotions attached to it. Now, the real cost of these negotiations is that it makes you feel like you're managing your problems right in the moment, and it makes it okay to then do the action that you probably shouldn't be doing. You said, "Hey, I should not be doing this." And then this just keeps the loop alive. So you will be constantly running into this if the negotiator is there. Number two, the second one is the rule follower. Okay. This is the strict rule guy. He tries to win with the phrase never again. I'm never going to overeat. I'm not going to do carbs. I'm not doing sugar, no alcohol, no eating after 7. And sometimes it works for a week or two, but then life gets in the way, whether it's the stress of work or the family or traveling or just one night's sleep. But for whatever reason, I woke up earlier and I wanted to. I could have slept an extra 2+ hours, and that just didn't happen. So I started working on these podcast episodes. I'll have another one coming shortly after I'm done here. But all these things can trigger this rebel voice inside that shows up and says, forget about it. Then when you wake up and you're mad at yourself, and then you just try again, this is another loop that people gets into, or they follow the rules all week long and staying on top of their approach, but the weekend comes and it causes you to end up falling off track again and not being successful. So again, it's this loop that constantly goes on and on and on. Now, number three is the comfort seeker. This is your emotional medicine, your emotional comfort blanket, your emotional. We have a dog named Huga. Huga is this calm, comfy, cozy environment. It's a Danish term. Think of a fireplace with a warm cup of tea or coffee or a beverage and food and a snuggly blanket, and you're just reading something. That's Huga. And that's what this voice is. This is what this common challenge is. Stress equals a snack, anxiety equals sugar, overwhelm equals takeout, loneliness is met with a dessert to fill you up. Tim's comfort window was late at night. This was evident from our very first conversation, is where he always derailed. He was full from his food, he was full from just everything that was happening in the day, and he was just looking for relief of some sort, and that was causing him a lot of problems in the big picture. Now, food works in a lot of short-term ways. So, sleep can improve when you put carbs and sugars in, but it also can wreck your sleep later in the day if you're not careful. We have your morning appetite can go up if your sleep is down and you want more food, and you want to get energy that way, or you end up hitting caffeine with some sugar in it. Your energy drops throughout the day because your blood sugar levels are going up and down. Your cravings keep getting louder, and they speak to you. They call your name. They say, "Hi, Levi, I want you need to eat something because your belly's grumbling, but you have just got done with a giant mound of food, and you need to not eat more. You can just be fine. Just wait 20 minutes and you'll be okay." And then the workout skip. Okay. This is the comfort. This is that voice that you feel like you have no control, and you just fail every single time because you are seeking out that comfort and your nervous system is actually behind the wheel. Number four is the scarcity brain, the voice that screams urgency. I need it now. I had this challenging situation. This thing showed up. This is my only chance. I'm going to start on Monday, so I might as well be the last supper. So many people, when they sign up for my programs, they do the last supper. I'm just going to eat everything that I'm not allowed to eat, and never once is that my approach with anyone I've ever worked with. We don't want that type of an outlet or an outcome because it doesn't work. It doesn't solve the challenges that we need for you to be successful. Okay. So going to scarcity, there's a lack. Now, if you think about this in your life, it's unlikely that you have ever been without food, that you've ever been without your needs being met. In our in our world, there is built around convenience, and I bring this up on different podcasts, but you can drive within 5 minutes of your house and probably get a number of different convenience stores that you could buy 100,000 calories. So there's no scarcity around food, but it's old behavior patterns that are showing up, or even maybe something from your childhood that's showing up and challenging you. Now, when we are have these scarcity and we have to eat this stuff now, that's where we can really do a number on our body and our health. We consume lots of calories. We usually consume the wrong types of calories, and this is where some of my clients have challenges with diabetes, cholesterol issues, blood pressure because they overconsume quickly, which then gains belly fat quickly. Now, the reward system is built. A fifth one is the reward system. Now, with the reward system, it's I earn this thing. I If food becomes the prize, you're allowed to have it because you did this thing. And sometimes the food is okay to be a reward for what it is. I remember for a while I'd reward myself with sushi, and that was an enjoyable experience. So when I would do things, I would have sushi and I felt excited about that, but I wasn't abusing it. I was having a roll or two and then having it as part of a meal. But going back to the reward, the stress is usually reward, or I overcame this thing or I accomplished this thing. So let's eat. Yeah, Tim rewarded himself quite a bit because he survived the day. He'd often drive home and swing through the gas station to pick up a candy bar. He would sometimes go to a fast food joint because it was calling the Golden Arches would call his name. You get a large fry, even if he was on his way to go home to eat. And that happened a lot. More that happens a lot of people and they don't want to admit it that they actually stop off for food on their way home before they actually eat. So you're eating a couple hundred calories before you go eat even more, and then it gets into this cyclical loop that challenge you. And food is reward, and it becomes habit. The identity attachment. This is the last one. This is the one. I'm a sweets guy. I'm a nighttime snacker. I'm a Snickers guy. I like Reese's. I am a Coca Cola drinker. We create these identities, and brands have done an amazing job with marketing and creating this identity and attachment around food. And it's something that you can get stuck in as too. Or even think of this, grandpa was always a meat and potatoes guy, and that's why he was big boned or whatever. And that ends up being this persona that you have to live up to and constantly keep up with. And it's who you are at your core if you don't decide to change it, and it will control you. Now, when we look at all these six factors, think about which one you are. So let's quickly go through them. We have the negotiator, we have the rule follower, we have the comfort seeker, the scarcity brain, the reward system, and identity attachment. And which one are you? We all are one of these. I would say out of all these, I'm the reward. That's the one that's I did this thing. I get this as a result, and I will definitely do that. I want to talk about what hunger actually looks like because people always say that they're hungry. Even if you randomly, you'll catch it on my Facebook. There's a reoccurring memory of Everett back when he was 3, and I made this short video of him, and he just kept saying, "I'm hungry." That's what the video is called. I'm hungry. And it goes on for about a minute 15 of various forms of ever being happy to being really sad and upset about being hungry. And that's all he said. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Well, he was 2 or 3. But that's how we feel. That's how guys feel when they talk about hunger. It's just this craving that's called hunger. But people don't actually know what hunger is. Hunger, your energy plummets. You feel weak. Your blood sugar levels down in the basement. You can't think. There's no productivity, massive amounts of brain fog. You literally move slower. You sit and you don't want to, you're naturally more sedentary. Your stomach has pains in it because it's so empty and hasn't had food in it. Now, these are part of that's really hunger. You haven't eaten for over 24 hours, not 2 hours or three. That's hunger. And that's something that we don't experience. Not there isn't one client. Now we do have hunger in the US and in the world. Anyone I've ever worked with, it's not a lack of food that's their biggest problem. It's that they have too much access and it's too focused on the ultra processed foods. So most of us going back are dealing with stress and the habit loops that we are stuck in from old identity and behaviors from years long ago, and we can't get out of them. And that's food noise. What changed for Tim? Let's wrap up with Tim here. One night after dinner, he was stood up and he was autopilot going to the the pantry. All right. We tried a number of different things. We actually literally put tape up. Like I've once had this guy who put caution tape across his doorway to the kitchen because it's a pattern interrupt. And that's what we did. We found a variety of different pattern interrupts, from placing a chair in front of his doorway to the kitchen, putting the food that he absolutely loves in that cupboard above his refrigerator. So it was out of sight, out of mind, and hard to reach. And those little tricks, and obviously we stopped buying it, so it wasn't readily available. We deleted the DoorDash app on his phone, and anytime that he would have to want to use it, he would have to manually log in on the browser itself. All these things wear out the desire for you to have that instant gratification, and that's the point. How do we throw things into the mix to get you out of old behavior patterns and into new ones that will help you create a high level of success? Pattern interrupts. Comment below in the podcast that if you are identified with one of those six, I'd love to hear it and have an ongoing conversation, or just email me, brian@brianprana.com. Moving on from food noise, hopefully this was helpful and it gave you some identity around why you are always hungry and what to do about it. Fast five, let's shift into my fast five questions. Number one is the simplest way to tell you're hungry versus food noise. Ask yourself, would you eat things like eggs, chicken, a yogurt, real food? If so, then you actually are hungry. If not, then you're not. My kids do this all the time. I'm hungry. Well, there's some fruit, or there's a cucumber. And I don't want that. Well, you're not hungry then. You just want something to eat. And it's not food time. Number two, food noise gets louder when you're tired. Yes, absolutely. Food, sleep are synonymous together. Cravings go up like crazy the longer you are up and the more tired you are, because your resilience, your willpower, your motivation, your ability to push through those cravings or that donut sitting in front of you is not there. Number three, protein earlier reduces the nighttime battles around food. This is so true. Studies have shown that if you have a strong start to your day with protein, you will be more satiated throughout the day. Going back to my two-step question, where's the protein, where's the fiber? Those are the things that allow you to be able to fill up with less calories. Number four, most late night eating is decompression. This is true. If you don't have a good nighttime routine, you will put food in your mouth. Netflix and chill. It's a slogan, it's a banner, it's people's way of living, especially as the night gets dark. The day gets dark. That's what happens. People put tasty food in their mouth then. We have to find a different pattern of behavior to avoid that. Last of the fast five, what to do when it hits tonight. Tonight, guys, literally tonight is I want you to pause for 60 seconds. Like literally wait a whole minute and just sit with it. Sit with it like a tantruming 2-year-old that you are just putting time out and it's just crying and it's whining and it just wants food. It just need food. And after those 60 seconds, you just let it do the biggest tantrum that you can. Then ask yourself, are you actually hungry or are you trying to change the way you feel? That's how you can start to identify if it is food noise and start coming up with a winning strategy around it. In closing, if you are running around with food noise and it's ruining your day, your life, then we don't need to focus on, say, food shame or guilt or blame or any of those things. We need to find better systems, processes, and ways to go about managing it. I hope that the 6 identity names for food noise help you understand how it best fits and works in your everyday. And if you are wanting to lose weight, you have blood blood panels that are not working in your favor and you need some help with that, then grab my Improve Your Blood Panel scorecard inside the show notes. It's a simple, easy to understand, plain language. It breaks down what those blood markers are, how to understand them in easiest terms, A1C, cholesterol, blood pressure, and a couple others, and how it affects your life. And then there's an active 3-day reset on a simple nutrition and meal plan approach that helps you do this. And you'll get some emails as well that have recipes and simple day to day actions for you to implement in your day to day. Well, thank you so much. Coach Brian signing out for Driven for Health. Talk to you in the next episode.